Alright, Shalom. I like to say, Call Lord, Wildlife Resort, Prison, Glory, in Hebrew. Dial, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Mukarkadash. The Monster Pastor, Els, Great Millstone, Bless God, elect. Few sisters and Israelite foreigners just waking up to know the truth. My name is Kamafi from GMS Cleveland branch. Come back at you with another lesson. Alright, now I'm gonna speak about the Somali situation. And what I'm gonna do is, because this is what I did, I put a series of videos together and speaking about this subject. And how I'm gonna do it is I'm basically just gonna let them play out. I ain't gonna do too much talking. I'm gonna let them play out, and then I'm gonna hit a scripture after each one finish, because basically, like, the videos I put together is gonna be, what I'm saying, I don't have to explain nothing. Basically, it's gonna do all the elaborating or breaking down or the video or the situation, the videos that is, they gonna do all the explain for me. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and play it, and then after video, and I'm just gonna hit the scripture. All right, but here you go. Oh shit, slacking. Here we go. I'm sorry.
My name is Deco Noor. I'm a parent who receives federal funding for childcare for my kiddo. Over 20,000 kids will lose access to childcare programs. And thousands of children rely on childcare, and thousands of parents rely on childcare. Therefore, if childcare will, I'm currently a medical student. I rely on childcare. I work. If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
Look at the rock on her finger. Look at the rock on her finger. You know what? When y'all first sent me this video, I didn't even notice it, but I'm noticing it now. Look at the rock on her finger. That's crazy, the pear-shaped rock on her ring finger. And then she says that she's a medical student. First of all, she can't even follow the script that they gave her, because she just shot herself in the foot, and she just told y'all, and they basically admitting to your face that they committing fraud. They're admitting it, they throwing it in your face, and you just acting like it don't even exist. She got her hand over her mouth because she knows she slipped up, and because we on the internet in the social media era, it lives forever, so it's...
Yeah, and I'm just want to say this too. I believe that she said that on purpose, like she slipped up on the tongue of her tongue on purpose. She willingly, like, meant to say that, the frauds thing. Like, I don't think she made an accident on the slip up. I think she was supposed to say that. Like, I think that was scripted. The fact that she made it seem like she made it seem like she made a mistake and said fraud. I think she intentionally said that, what I'm saying, for whatever reason. The people behind the scenes made her do it, because he's always working his hand. All right.
Don't go out. And you knew it was going to come into my hands, baby, because as soon as I get it, I'm going to report on it, and I'm going to show you exactly what's being communicated. So while they put together their rallies and they try to figure out how it is that they're going to keep the fraud turned on, and while and this is the most disrespectful part, why are we paying for childcare, fake childcare, fraud childcare? Why are we paying for childcare for other people to benefit, and they are not even from this country, mostly temporary protective status, asylum seekers? Fuck is going on? And now you see why a lot of people are basically revolting, and people are tired, and they say, man, I don't even feel like paying for this stuff no more, because this is disrespectful. This is disrespectful. I don't want to pay taxes anymore because it's disrespectful, because it all goes towards fraud. And she just basically just admitted it to you and slipped up and said it right in front of your face, and nobody batted an eye. They tried to get her composed. This is crazy, bro.
Okay, so this alleged daycare fraud story in Minnesota is
alleged.
Not over. Here's an explainer of recent events. On December 26th, YouTuber Nick Shirley posted his video about that alleged fraud. And then a few days later, HHS Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill announces this: we have frozen all child care payments to the state of Minnesota. Now, in this video, he and another Trump administration official say they are talking about the $185 million that normally go out to Minnesota every year in the form of child care payments. The federal crackdown on child care payments also includes these measures: a brand new website, childcare.gov, for reporting fraud in child care, plus new rules that all child care payments to states must first come with receipts or photo evidence, and also demands to the Walz administration to audit the child care centers with things like attendance records, licenses, and complaints. Now, speaking of Governor Walz, this is what he has to say about all this. Quote, this is Trump's long game. He says he's politicizing the issue to defund programs that help Minnesotans. So that leaves us with more developments on the docket today. 2:30 at the state capitol, child care providers will be among those at a press conference. In their notice to media, they called out child care that it's been made into a political football, in their words, to bolster the careers of certain politicians.
So this is the news media that's...
Okay, that was the first one. All right. All right, this is James 5:1, and the NLT says, "Look here, you rich people, weep and groan with anguish because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you." Just talking about the elites, mainly the ones of Esau, Edom. All right, because you have elites amongst the other heathen too. But this is referred to the Edomites. All right. Your wealth is rotting away, and your fine clothes are moth-eaten rags. Your gold and silver are corroded. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire. This corroded treasure you have hoarded will testify against you on the day of judgment. For listen, hear the cries of the field workers whom ye have cheated on their pay. The cries of those who harvest your fields have reached the ears of Yahweh of armies. Right, so people are outspoken, mainly Edomites, on the Somali situation. They're very pissed about it. All right, and this is like a thing that was happening in the Roman Empire as it was on its way down. All right, as it was fading away, the Roman Empire. All right, a lot of scandals and corruption. All right, secrets were coming out, and the public found out about it. Like the bread and circus wasn't working anymore, and when people found out about it, all right, they wanted to take action against those in power, and that's what exactly we're seeing here in Rome 2.0. All right, America, it was just Rome all over again. All right. See, we're into a point now where there's gonna be so much dirt that's gonna come out on the people that are in charge, where the bread and circus absolutely not going to. It's not working right now. Shit, it's not working out right now for real. But people are going to be so affected. Their lives are going to be so affected about what's going on in society and how it's playing out. How the rulers are making things hard on the public is that they can't help not but to see it, because they're gonna be feeling it. They feel it every day in their lives. That's how all Americans talk about how expensive the cost of living is, and how they can't afford things, and things are just tough for them. All right, they can't really live their lives like they want to, because the politicians, the government officials, they're all making all the wrong decisions, and they're just disappointing the people. Okay, so yeah, that was my first scripture. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get this one. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play a second clip. Then I'm gonna slide it down. Play a second clip. Oops.
But look what this says. It says, breaking. It has been revealed. A whistleblower inside Minnesota's DHS, Scott Stillman, uncovered the Somalian daycare fraud network in 2018, accurately citing figures of $100 million in fraud and stating that Al-Shabaab...
Hold on, so this whistleblower named Scott Stillman, he was talking about this Somali shit in 2018, man. Okay, and that's part of scripture too in Psalm 64 chapter, where it says, "I will cause thy own tongue to fall upon thee." So we see the Lord, he's saying what he promised, all right, in the scriptures, all right, and the Lord is definitely doing it. So this guy, Scott Stillman, he knew about this shit all the way back in 2018 about this fraud. And, now it's just coming out, out on the forefront, everywhere. Everybody's knowing about it now. That's the work of the Lord right there. There's no secret that shall not be made abroad. Okay, but
was being funded with it, but Tim Walz did nothing. So...
$100 million figure came from Scott Stillman, a former Department of Human Services computer forensics director. He also alleged money from the daycare fraud was being sent to fund terrorists in Somalia. $100 million figure came from Scott Stillman.
So like I said, that was a short video, but let me play this longer one. So we're going to play it in a second, but remember I told you this is going on all over the country. Well, it says Minnesota might just be where they got caught first. A TikToker decided to investigate daycare centers in Columbus, Ohio, which has the nation's second largest Somali population at around 60,000 people. Let me play it.
All right, so a lot of this fraud in Minnesota is centered around daycares. And now there are claims about daycares coming out from Ohio, and this is crazy. I'm just gonna start showing you some of these examples here. But basically, Columbus is home to the nation's second largest Somali community behind Minnesota. There's about 60,000 Somali Americans in Columbus, and there's 500 Somali-owned businesses. And if you're not caught up on this, the FBI is now investigating this fraud in Minnesota. They say that it might reach up to $9 billion, one of the largest Medicaid frauds in American history. And federal officials have portrayed the Somali community as a hotspot for fraud. And I mean portrayed, but most of the fraud defendants are of Somali descent in Minnesota. So people just started using this tool where you can look up daycare centers in Ohio to look these places up. So here's one, 161 Child Care LLC. And it's listed at this address. So I literally just put this address in my own personal Google Maps, and this is what I see. It's listed as a smoke shop. Okay, and then here's First Choice Child Care. It's listed at this address, 4303 Cleveland Avenue, and this is what I see. You know, it's just like the windows are all blacked out. There's no playscape. There's nothing for kids. Maybe the photo was taken at the wrong time, but not many cars there. All right, and then there's Benati Child Care too, and it's at 3629 Cleveland Avenue. And here we go again. Part of it is a boutique with bars on it. And here's the child care center. These all say 6 weeks to 12 years old. And if you have kids, you would know that most child care centers do not enroll kids that are between 6 weeks and 12 years old. That's way too big of a spread. But it enables you to get more kids enrolled, hypothetically, or at least claim that they're enrolled. And then you just start looking at the reviews. And so if they even have reviews, like this place got 2 reviews 2 years ago, and they're both 5-star reviews. And again, I don't know if you have kids, but daycares give reviews. Okay, and then you got the Hayat Learning Center, and it's at 2599 Tiller Lane. This place you can't even see on Google Maps. But you can see that at this address, there's like all these businesses that are listed there, and this learning center is just one of them, and it has no reviews. And then this one, Ka Child Care, which is listed at 2635 Dublin, and that's this spot here. Gotta love the 1-star award winner. But mostly you just notice like there's no playground, there's no kids, and this place is listed as being permanently closed, but it got 1 review, and it's been open since 2018, so in the last, 5-6 years, 1 review. And it gets spicier because there is this congressperson, Ismail Mohammed, who's of Somali descent, who is receiving campaign donations from these daycare centers. Star Zone Daycare, Bright Kids Academy. All right, so here is Bright Kids Academy. We get the classic blacked out windows again. No reviews. Here is the Star Zone Daycare here. Again, blacked out windows, no cars, no playground. They do have a few reviews, and this lady said it's a joke. The teachers are not trained and are basically women that bring their kids to the center, and this is gonna come back. Here's another one that donated to his campaign, Primo One Daycare. Again, classic, no cars, blacked out windows. And they had the wherewithal to put up these, nice looking photos, but again, no reviews. And here's this one, Rise Up Daycare, which is in this place. Again, classic, no playground. They say that they've enrolled 71 kids, which means they're getting reimbursed for, more kids. But when they were actually inspected, there was hardly any kids in the building. So yeah, it looks like the same scheme that's been used in Minnesota. Likely seems like it's going on in Ohio. And when I'm reflecting on this, it just makes me remember that Somalis follow this Islamic tradition where men can marry up to 4 wives, provided they're able to support them. And based on my research, it just seems like oftentimes what will happen is there will be one official marriage and then more cultural marriages. But then I started thinking about this lady's review where she was like, hey, the teachers aren't trained and they're basically just women that bring their kids to the center. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, that might jive with this whole thing. And so it's like, all right, cool. So if the guys are able to support them is the big thing, but like, I mean, just are we the ones supporting them? And if so, it's just a genuine question. Do we want to do that?
I mean, guys, it's the exact same thing.
So that's okay. Second video. All right. Get this in scripture. Obadiah 1:5. It says, "If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how thou cut off." And of course, we read up in the second verse. It's talking about Edom. All right, and it describes them as the wicked. It called them the borders of wickedness. All right. So the Most High is asking the question. He said, if these came to thee, if robbers by night, how would I cut off? I mean, this man he's doing so well, all right? If Esau, Edom, that mainly higher ups, the elites, all right, if they got robbed, and I'm talking about big time, like, if they got vaults empty and shit like that, they emptied out a whole vault and broke into the home and stole all types of jewelry and cars and things of that nature, a lot of material things. It's Chris said, how thou cut off, meaning like that how's that gonna have effect on these bastards because they doing that well. Okay, that's how good if somebody was to rob one of these elites mansions and stole all the cars that was at the home, all the expensive things in the house, it was worth value. He said, how thou cut off. So, or even, money, wire transfers of money. I said, how thou cut off, because it is nothing for him to replace all those things. That's how much money he got. They say you look up $1 trillion, like how long it took to spend it. They say it will take several lifetimes to spend that money, and their money goes all the way back to the build up of this country, chattel slavery, which are our people. From Judah all the way down this car, Negro all the way down to the land tribes and Native American tribes. This nigga has made mad money off our people. All right, and all that shit was for free, man. About 300 to 200 something, or 2.5 years of that, of just free labor, man. All right, This man had a hell of a head start and a handicap. Okay, is it were they not stolen until they had enough? Right, you Edomites. Like how much? When will you stop? That's a question. When will you just sit back and chill and enjoy the fortune that you have right now? Like when would enough be enough? Never. This man has he's a black hole basically. Okay. It's an endless cycle of this behavior. Is it a great gathers came to thee, will they had not leave some grapes? Right. So, you know what I'm saying? That this man, he doesn't leave nothing. In other words, okay, he doesn't leave nothing. And then even when you look in our law, like how we would pick crops and we'll leave like what I think is 10% for the homeless, and those of our people, of course, we would leave 10% of our crops that we have grown for the homeless of our people. You know what I'm saying? So they can have something to eat. But this devil, he don't leave you shit. Okay? He doesn't leave you nothing. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see. I'm gonna type it in. Okay, here it is. Leviticus 23 and 22 says, and NLT I'm read, it says, when you harvest your crops of your land, do not harvest the grain along the edges of your fields, and do not pick up what the harvesters drop. Leave it for the poor and for the foreigners living among you. Notice that the foreigners living among you, for I am the Lord your Yahweh your God. So them foreigners are talking about Israelite foreigners. Alright. Because ain't no heathen back. Listen, when you read the history of our history, the Lord even had the tribes in different portions of the land. So the Lord could have left, all 12 tribes in one land, but the Lord gave each tribe a landmass. All right, we were still close to each other, but different landmass for each tribe. All right, so the Lord didn't even mingle the tribes together like that. So how much more heathen from us? The heathens didn't dwell didn't keep company with us. Okay. Yeah, we allied with them, but they wouldn't within our borders like that. All right. And I believe when you look at the word holy, the Lord calls us a holy people. Holy means set apart, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So yeah, that's the law right there. All right. But this devil, he don't do that, man. He don't leave you shit. That's how this man gets down. You heard about the video I just played, man. All right. How this man is running this fraud operation, and here it is. He already has money. All right, he always have money. Money is nothing to him, and he's still taking from people that can barely afford to live, even from his own people. That's greed beyond your wildest imagination, man. That's greed that you can't comprehend. All right. Let me see. Psalm 73, and I'm going to get straight to it. Psalm 73 and 2 says, but as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps will slip. For I was envious at the foolishness when I saw the prosperity of the wicked Edomites. You got these three classifications of men. You got the sons of God, the sons of the wicked, and sons of men. The sons of God are the Israelites. Israelite men. Sons of the wicked are Edomite men. All right. And the sons of men are just, the other nations. All right. The Chinese, the Arabs, the Hamites. All right. The Lord is a balance. Where there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Yeah, I mean, these devils, scripture talk about Edom should be blessed with the fatness of the earth. All right, these devils, wherever they live at, they're not even the super rich amongst the Edomites. Just talking about just regular Edomites. They still live in suburban neighborhoods, and they still live a decent life. All right, they're not in bad neighborhoods or bad schools, and they do well. All right, it's levels to wealth. Verse 5 says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither they plague like other men. That's for damn sure. If you're Israelite, you know that. Therefore, pride capacity them as a chain. If I skip down 7 verse, it says, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than their heart could wish for. What? These minds, man. They live high off the hog, as the saying goes. All right. Man, these bastards, their money runs deep, man. All right. When all those celebrities or people, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, talking about they trillionaires. No, they ain't even trillionaires, man. They probably billionaires. But them guys, they don't have no money compared to the higher ups, the elites, the people that have money that you don't hear about. Those are the people with real wealth, real money, real riches. If you hear about, first of all, if you got money, if you got money that you can count your money, all right, you ain't no real, you don't got no real, you don't have real wealth. All right, if you can count your money, like guys will be on Forbes magazines, and how it go? Damn, I forgot the net worth. If you got a net worth, man, you ain't got no real money, man. The Rothschilds, the IRLs, the elites of Edom, you can't count their money, bro. You can put an estimation, maybe, but that's just, an estimation. You can never count their money. So yeah, they have it more than their hearts and wish for, and they still doing all this goddamn stealing. All right, from the people. Okay, why you still stealing from people? If you got enough money, dude, you still stealing it, bro. All right, and this bastard, he'll still take from you. He'll still take from you. You ain't have shit. That's why the New World Order, he wants to end CAD, physical payments, where it goes into the whole thing about a cashless society. All right, when it's money that you can type in on a computer screen, that money can be altered at any time. All right, it can be withdrawn or deposited at any time. All right, it can be withdrawn if they feel that you owe them some money. You can't skip out on tax evasion or nothing like that. This man can tax you at will. So that's the power, all right, that we're talking about. That this man is trying to, that's the heavy burden that he wants to put on mankind. Okay, that's what the Lord's gonna stop his ass. That's completely unrighteous. Let me see. I think I got one more. It's like I did more talking than I was supposed to do, but whatever. I'm about to end it anyway. Where we at? Shit, it's like it.
Has anybody else started to reach their breaking point or a boiling point? So this is starting to look like a country that I am no longer proud to have served. I've been working my entire adult life, and I have paid half or more than half back to the government in some way, shape, or form in taxes for the past 30 years. And if you don't believe me, look up everything that you have that is taxed. State income tax, federal income tax, property taxes, payroll taxes, Medicare taxes, Medicaid taxes, sales taxes. Everything is taxed. Everything. And we have a political apparatus
where half of them say that if you don't keep us in power, we will steal from you so that we can import people that will. So shut up and go back to work.
And this is why they had the Jewish-Roman wars happen. You know, when Jake was going at it against the Romans, and then you had the Sakari and all that shit. Them Jakes, they were getting mad as hell because the Romans were heavily taxing them. All right, you know, enormous amounts. Okay, and it got to the point where you know, the frustration got so real that they, you know, they wanted to take up arms against the Romans. All right, like I said, that's when you had those Zillox, the Sakari, and all that stuff like that. Those rebel groups, militia groups came up because shit like this. And this a lot of revolutions happen because of government taxing the people. That's how a lot of revolution starts, man. You look up in history.
And another side of the aisle that is either in on it or is totally complete chicken shit and won't do anything about it and won't even try to actually represent the people that vote for them. Is anybody else getting to a point where we feel like we cannot vote our way out of this? Where does that leave us? Because nothing is going to happen about the fraud.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
All of the fraud that Elon Musk and Doge exposed, the Republican Congress put it on the back burner and refused to fucking vote on it. Turn around to the American voter that put them in power and extended one of these.
Yep, facts.
It doesn't matter what we do. This situation is completely freaking unsustainable. Totally and completely unsustainable. It's a waste of time to vote, and it's a waste of energy to pay taxes so that we can give it to people that are going to steal from us, and then we can send it to other countries that hate us.
It's backbreaking. It's tiring to know that the majority of what you work for then goes over to people that defraud you, and then they'll sit there and protest and say that we're going to tax the rich some more. And Democrats are so stupid, and liberals are so dumb that they think that that's actually going to improve their life when we're already finessed out of almost everything that we make. It ultimately goes back to the federal government. It siphons itself off to eventually go to the federal government. I mean, think about it. Let's say, for example, I go and I get taxed on whatever it is that I work for, and then I go off and I go and buy a service from you. Guess what? They not only charge me sales tax, but then you have to get taxed on the profit that you make from whatever it is service that you provide for me or that you sell me. So you then get taxed so that you can then go give it to somebody else so they can get taxed. It's one big scheme to tax you to death, and then to put the cherry on top, you can't even own your property, because if you ever forego paying your property taxes for a couple different years, or you get into a bad situation, guess what? They can take the entirety of that property in itself, and it just is what it is.
And we can send it to people in the European Union that look down their nose at the American worker and say, good little bitch, go back to work. It's putting us in a helpless situation, and I don't think the people in Washington living in that bubble realize the anger that is fuming outside of the borders of that city.
People are getting pissed.
And I am not interested in watching another.
Did you hear what you said? The anger that's boiling up with the average everyday person, the working class, is all infuriated. And the most ones that the ones that are angry the most are his own people. He's doing his own people like this, man. Okay.
Fucking theatrical congressional hearing where a couple of ballsy Republicans bitch out a fucking corrupt leftist and then nothing happens.
Facts.
Accountability and a fucking tax strike is what needs to happen.
As we have U.S. representatives calling for tax strikes now, we got more massive platforms like Sean Ryan saying, wouldn't that be something? Tax strike is in, guys. We are not paying fucking taxes, at least until shit gets fixed in this country. And I see a lot of people who are talking about how they're afraid to go to jail, they're afraid to have their wages garnished. Duh. Do you think you're going to have a revolution without any potential for recourse? Do you think you're going to fight corruption? There'd just be no risk. It is your fear that allows them to control you. And guess what? If you want to be free, you have to be willing to go to fucking jail. You have to be willing to die on that fucking hill. I see people talking about, yeah, but what if I don't get my Social Security when I get older? That is literally the fucking point, is to not be dependent on the government. If we quit paying taxes and we force their hand, and the government is no longer spending billions and billions of dollars on corrupt programs, funneling money back into their own pockets, into the pockets of their rich friends, then guess what? We have a much more prosperous country.
But let me tell you something. You're not going to get Social Security.
All right, you see, both of those Edomites just went off. All right, they just went off. Okay, as I said, man, these the person that's gonna give him the most is his own brother. All right, I'm about to read about it. It's just Job 20 and 22 says, "In the fullness of his sufficiency," it's talking about the higher ups. All right, when they're about to establish new order, he shall be in straits, meaning he's going to have a hard time accomplishing this new order. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. So the word wicked.
Strong's H 6001. A male. A male.
We've been through this constant breakdown. just going through it anyway. It says a laborer that is a misery had taken labor with wicked workman. Says labor suffer wretched one, labor workman. That's the one I look for, labor and workman. So these are working class, the blue collars, right? It shall come upon them. And we just hear from the two Edomites. He said, I worked like 30 years. I think he said 30 years. It's like, I forgot the amount. He said, it was a long time. You heard what he said. He worked a long time. You know what I'm saying? And he's constantly getting taxed, man. Tax for this, tax for that. All to go to find out that his tax money is going against thieves, man. It's going against illegal activities. All right. It is not going towards anything. It's going to benefit his society. All right. It's not even his own people. All right. That money is going for another nation. That's not him. All right. It's going towards another nation. It's going against this bullshit scandals, man. These bullshit scandals, man. Okay. That's what it's going against, man. I mean, going towards. All right, and that's why, like I said, people are going to turn this place upside down. All right. And they talking about a tax strike, man. All right, these Edomites. And I heard about like how you want the IRS to come after you, and how they would basically take everything, bankrupt you, and steal all your possessions and stuff like that. So people willing to go to extreme because all this stuff is coming out of what's really going on, and how this government is using the taxpayers' money. All right, I got this last scripture. I'm gonna close on this one. It's Isaiah 19 and the GNT. It says, Yahweh is coming to Egypt. This is America's Egypt, right? Riding swiftly on a cloud. I'm talking about a gigantic chariot. Reads 2 Kings 13 chapter. All right, the Lord is in a chariot so big, or a circle UFO, that it blocked out the sky. It blocked out a sunny day. The Egyptian idols tremble before him, and the people of Egypt lose their courage. Yahweh says, I will stir civil war in Egypt and turn brother against brother and neighbor against neighbor. Rival cities will fight each other, and rival kings will struggle for power. Yeah, so that's what's happening, man. All right, these Edomites, hear this. They was pro-Trump, now they against Trump. Okay, and the people that are in office, that are on TV, all right, they want their fucking heads, man, on a silver platter. And matter of fact, I watched a video on Dabu Silman how you had what's called JD Vance. His house was shot up, man. His house was shot up, and you best believe it was Edomites that done this shit, because I'm pretty sure he lived in a gated neighborhood or some type of suburban area. You best believe it was a nice area where Edomites live at. So, ain't no way no Jake got that. When Esau lived far out, when it's just only Edomites there in those suburban neighborhoods, the police watch you carefully, and you ain't gonna go too far, so to speak. All right, so it was another Edomite that did that, shot up J.D. Vance's house. Okay. And like I said, and guess what? All the attempts, assassinations on Trump, DJ Trump's life, they were all done by what? Edomites, man. Edomites. So this is Egyptian against Egyptian. All right? This is civil war. And it's brewing to the grand finale. All right? We're getting towards the grand finale of things. We're in 2026, and, this could be the big one. All right? We know we're definitely just based on that magazine, how the elites warned us, about the World Economic Magazine. I gotta keep bringing it up because that was a big telltale right there of the things they have planned for this year. All right, it's gonna be a lot of things happening in this year, okay, and then the fact that it's being the last year for an existing empire. 250 years about empire lasted roughly 250 years. So you know this place is cooked, is about to be done, you know. So, you know, definitely the time is short now. The time is definitely short. You know, especially I think it was somewhere in July. All right, July, something like that. We'll make it like official. This is what I heard. All right, I gotta check it out myself. But anyway, yeah, man, you see what's going on. All right, this Somali fraud. All right, is another reason why Babylon the Great is going to fall, and the people are just absolutely lost their trust in this place. And I'm talking about other Edomites. All right, and how the government is not for them, and the American people getting shit upon, and you know, not being appreciated. Okay, their own government is doing this to them while they talking about other leaders, how they run their country. Yet they ain't fixing things in their own backyard. The corruption is in their own backyard. All right. So yeah, man. All right. This is you know, Lord's just gonna reveal more secrets gonna be revealed. All right. So just keep watching. You know. Yeah, stay on your watch tower. That's it. With that, we can give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Shem Shah, the Most Positive Elders, Great Millstone, bless God, like you sisters, like